It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Flying down from Nova Scotia today.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
I have a dream.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back. You are listening to the Sergeant and the Captain. I guess we're calling this We Were Right. Is that what we're calling? Another bonus segment?
Actually, we could be the Captain Samurai.
Ooh, Captain Samurai. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Steve's
that.
the Sarge, so we're Captain Samurai. Isn't
I-
that like an anime or something?
It probably is.
I think it is.
probably
My buddy Drew on the other my other podcast, Two Live Fools, that we do, he's like big into that. So I think there is a Captain Samurai.
Unlike Steve, I have no military background. I was just a big Captain America fan, and then my nickname just became Cap and Captain, and it's forever stuck with me for the past decade or so.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We don't choose our roles. We're born into
No,
them.
exactly. And you know what? Like, there could be worse nicknames than the Captain.
Oh,
you know,
dude, my last name's Goldsberry. You know what my fucking nickname was half the time?
What?
Dingleberry. So you know, like I mean, I've been. I have so many nicknames. It's crazy, but
well,
yeah,
that's
one of the least favorites.
in high school. We had Matt Falkenberry, and everybody. He was, 400-pound, 6'2", just massive phone booth guy, and we'd all call him the Folk.
The Folk.
The Folk.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Oh man. But and then we have another friend, Danny Macaroni and Cheese, who on his 21st birthday drank a ton and threw up a ton of macaroni, and we were like, we got your nickname, Danny Mac.
Danny Mac. What's up, mama? Hope you're listening.
Yes. So anyway, how you been? Been a hectic week, huh?
Wild week with just the happenings that have been going on, and wild week in life. You know, I know you got a lot going on. I got a ton going on every single day.
You were just telling me.
Yeah, I got and I'm running a grappling tournament, so I started my own grappling league. So we're working on that too. So that's another business I started.
How far away are you in
From
Jersey?
you?
Yeah.
Where are you by?
I'm like Stamford, Connecticut.
Probably like an hour 15.
So I want to come see like a grappling fight. So I would love to come spend a day at your school.
So
I used to do karate and Muay Thai kickboxing.
Awesome.
So when I was young, it was all karate. And then when I was in my early 20s, I was part of a kickboxing school, and I really got just the standing and striking. I never got into like the jujitsu and stuff, like the technical aspect. You know, stupid me. I was just, some big meathead who wanted to punch and kick people.
Throw down.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the event's not going to be far. So, like, where we were at with the brewery?
Yeah.
How long it take you to get to the brewery?
Solid hour. It probably still would take me an hour to get there from here.
All right. Then
maybe just under an hour.
Then it would be 15 minutes closer. So maybe 45 minutes out. No
okay. Okay, nice.
Because it takes me from where I'm at, no traffic, cruising, probably like a solid 45 to 50 minutes to get into Manhattan.
Okay.
You know, if that gives you any bearing on things.
Right.
I know you come over like what is it? Fucking Cuomo Bridge.
I don't know what that. Actually, I was in the deli the other day, and on the New York Post or whatever it was, they're trying to change. They're officially trying to change the name.
They should.
Yeah, it should have never.
Should have
always stayed the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Tappan Zee can't get any better than that. Man.
The tap. Yeah,
the tap.
And everybody still calls it that.
Well, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
nobody, unless you're, a loser in Albany. Nobody voted for Como.
Or anybody that hasn't traveled in the tri-state area in the past 25 to 60 years.
Yeah. People don't live in New York anymore.
Yep, over half a century.
Although it is a very good looking bridge when it's all lit up at night.
Yeah,
and they got the little walking path on it. I never done
got
that.
Nice
yet.
legs, man.
Yeah.
She does.
She should last maybe about a year longer than the last one did.
I know.
Actually, in college, I had a close friend in college that lived in Pearl River, and he had to cross over the old Tappan Zee Bridge before they tore it down and built it. And the kid was very smart and very handy, and he built his own, forget what type of style, but it was a motorcycle for racing. It's like these smaller, lightweight bikes that it's all about like turning and getting your knees down and stuff. I don't know what type of racing it was, but he built this bike. So already it's kind of a sketchy thing. And then he was stuck in traffic on the Tappan Zee, and he was going over the iron grates that they started laying down. And he said in the corner, since you're on a bike, you could see the road. When he'd slow down, he'd look down and he could see water.
Yeah, like holes in the road. It's crazy. And think about how many like tens of thousands of cars were just over that all day. Yeah, bridges are sketchy. I don't like
wild.
It.
Yeah.
I don't like heights. Bridges are sketchy. Fucking sketchy. So, but they get to where you need to go. You wouldn't
do that job that they paid the guy to change the lights on the top. I think he gets paid like $25K every 6 months to just climb up the ladder to the top of like the San Francisco Bridge just to change the light bulbs. You wouldn't do that?
Nope. Couldn't pay me enough. $1 million. Not doing it. Not doing it. I'm not like that's there's things in life that are just not worth it to me, and that's one of them.
Okay, fair enough.
Jumping out of perfectly good airplanes, not my idea of a good time.
I could probably,
if I had to,
yeah,
you could definitely kick me out of one, and then I'd figure it out. But but I'm one of those people too that's like, I'm an adrenaline junkie in certain ways, but like I don't like heights. But like once I do it, I'll do it fucking 20,000 times.
Yeah, like if
it
you
might
gave
take
me
time to jump off that bridge, but then I'm like, I'm doing it again.
Yeah,
I'm doing it again. You know, so.
If you gave me the option of like bungee jumping off a cliff or getting into a cage with like a full-grown tiger, like tiger all the time.
Tiger every day.
Yeah, tiger.
Every day.
Yes.
Like, let's go there. Garfield.
Yeah, no,
that just falls in my favor because I can wrestle. So it's like, I'm like, all right, let's go, you little tiger.
Fucking put it in an armbar. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretty fast though, man.
Yeah, they're up close.
Dude, they got knives for a face.
Yeah.
And fingers.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
man, we have the most wild rants. Not even talking about politics.
No, man. People like that stuff because it's
Skaggs
was
saying he liked it's funny, like, because Skaggs has been listening to
he's dropping on us.
Yeah, on our episode to see what's going on. And like he keeps catching like excerpts of like, and he was like, God damn it, I wish I was there for this. Like, I got such an opinion for this. And now he's sending me like paragraph text. He's like, well, this is, if you look at it like this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you know what, Skaggs, you're not here and you can't look at it like that, buddy.
It's our show.
We're taking it over.
All right. So let's start with a little, it was President's Day this week.
Oh yeah, salute.
And our president,
your president, my mine,
went to Ukraine before he went to Ohio.
Isn't that standard practice?
Yeah, well, for this administration, it is. I mean, I understand. I'm not. How can I word this? I see. It's not a surprise that Biden went to Ukraine. I mean, that's his investment. I fucking get it. Yep. I get it. But simply could have gone to Ohio first. This was almost like, we're always talking like you're watching a movie. Like, how do you pick President's Day to go to Ukraine while Ohio over here is just nuked and destroyed? And you give Trump this big, at the end of the day, whether you like Trump or not, whether you like Biden or not, like this is a competition of sorts.
You just gave him a huge political touchdown.
Yes, huge. I mean, you handed him the ball, the O-line, the D-line opened up wide and just let him waltz right through.
It's like when they all line up offset for that trick play, and then there's like one center and the quarterback and the whole line's over here, and it's like we're gonna run this. Everybody's like, should we go there? Should we go there? Should we go? Yeah, no, it was exactly like that. You said it. Like he's protecting his investment. And he's just showing, and I think this is another red pill for a lot of people. He's showing that his investment in Ukraine is more important than his own people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His monetary investment and his freedom outside of a jail cell obviously is more important to him than, Trump supporter in East Palestine, Ohio.
Yeah.
Now, we've all seen the videos. We all see that. Obviously, that's Trump country, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're starting to see a lot of planes, trains, and automobiles. That's what we were almost going to call the last episode,
Yeah.
right? So, if everybody remembers that nursery rhyme or whatever that was back in the day, right?
Wasn't
Planes,
it
trains.
a Chris Farley movie?
It was too. I think it was something else, but planes, trains, and automobiles. It was a movie or something. But I know I'm probably getting butchered in the chats and stuff. They're like, "You idiots" from this. But that's my feeble brain. But you can see that a lot of these derailments, a lot of these production fires, a lot of these plants and food processing, people forget about like the 30 food processing and egg factories that got on. So yes, could it be a coincidence? Me and James talked about this a little bit yesterday on Winning Wednesdays, and I know you and Skaggs have talked about it.
Off air, we talked about it.
So a little bit was like, okay, yes, could it be a coincidence? Because, now we have the technology, right? We have the ability to share information so fastly, and news gets out so where, and like, even 50 years ago, if a train derailed in China, we would never even know about it.
Right.
Where if a train derailed out in Kansas, we wouldn't even know about it until, you're like, oh, we don't have our eggs. Oh, let me send the telegram. You
got to think, like, you ever watch I always equate this because people don't understand like how quickly technology has like advanced. Like, so remember that murderer, Ted Bundy?
Yes.
So that all happened on like the East Coast, like California, Utah, stuff like that.
He's like the head of the Democratic Party in this town too.
Yeah, he was running for politics and he was a lawyer and shit. And when he escaped from prison in Colorado.
Oh, I'm sorry, John Wayne Gacy. I messed up. John Wayne Gacy, the clown.
Oh,
the
yeah,
clown.
no, he sat on a board, yeah. But Ted Bundy also had political aspirations and wanted to be a lawyer and was going to school for law. But he escaped from a courthouse in Colorado and made his way down to Florida. This was
everybody knows Florida's for freedom.
Yeah, even back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Just a few decades ago, if you were a major criminal in Colorado and you made it to like Maine, Massachusetts, whatever, nobody would know who you were. It wasn't even on the local news down in Florida or anything like that. So now think of the technology we have today where if a train derails in Kansas, hell, if a train derails in China, we know about it that hour, that very hour. So it's a huge advancement in the way technology has changed things.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. Like we say all the time, it's a gift and a curse, right?
Yeah,
so
double-edged sword.
Yep, 100%. Used for good or evil, right? So, yeah, I mean, we have so many things going over, but a lot of this is happening in these areas where it is heavily, red. It is heavily Trump supported. It's just a coincidence. We shot down 5 balloons and UFOs or 4 that we didn't know what they are. Now our infrastructure is under attack. Things are lighting on fire. Things are going here. I mean, like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's all over the country in these major things. We're like, oh, another food processing plant. Oh, and everything that derails has fucking hazardous Like that's the other wild thing that I think people should open their eyes to, that there is like the most poisonous things going around our country, moving around all day, all night, everything else, and they're not being guarded. They're not being, it's like, and you can see, like, I've seen pictures of like the railroad tracks in Ohio that they're going down, and it looks like looks like a roller coaster.
And then you see the bridges; they're all falling apart around the beams and the trusses and stuff.
This is years of kicking the can down the road. Now everybody's going to be like, "Well, Biden put in the infrastructure pack." Well, if you look at the infrastructure pack, it doesn't go to any of that shit. It's all fucking pet projects that go over for infrastructure for Ukraine and everything else. Like, it's insane. The infrastructure should have been upkept for years, but everybody's stealing the money. They're taking the money, and then they're charging you, $10 million for a $3 million bridge, and then it takes 20 fucking years to build it. And then that $10 million project with interest and everything else just turned into a $60 million project, and everybody's getting their cut for the next 20 years, just getting a little siphon off of it, but that little 100 grand turns into 200 grand, turns into 300 grand, so on and so forth.
And meanwhile, it's gone through what, 2-3 presidential, what do you want to call it, campaigns or administrations?
I've been saying this forever. Where I live, there's on the way to Giant Stadium, you take Route 3 and Route 46. It's like from where I come, you take 46. Mm-hmm. They've been working on Route 46 and those turns and those things since I was fucking born.
Yep.
I'm 40 years old, and they're still doing construction. Still figuring out how to spread it and widen it and this.
Pelham Parkway in the Bronx. It's smoother on the moon.
Yeah,
it's smoother on the moon, bro.
It's insane.
And I mean, millions of people, hundreds of thousands at least, take this road, Pelham Parkway, every single day. Every day. People live on it. There's houses on it.
Well, this is my issue with that, that infrastructure and all that stuff too. What do they say they always tax us for? Schools and roads.
Yeah.
Our roads are trash. Yep. Our schools are trash. So where is the money going? Yeah. Like you're going to tell me, it's going to roads, and every road in my town is like this. Every bridge is half built. Everything's, we need more money for the bridges. Like, what the fuck? How much more money do you need?
This is why me and you have off-roading vehicles, because we're just trying to get down the street.
Yep. Put my mud grips on it.
There you go. And I want to get the big mountain crawling tires for my truck. Because I go up the mountain every week. Yeah,
need that in Connecticut.
Yeah. How many? So for people who are listening and watching that don't live in the tri-state, you're not going to understand this. People who are in the tri-state, how many tolls have been put into place to say we're just going to charge you until we have enough money to fix the road or the bridge or whatever the toll's being put in for, and then it's several years later, the toll has gone up 25 cents every year for 7 years now. The road, the bridge is not fixed, and the toll ain't fucking going nowhere.
Dude, it's like $20 to drive through the tunnel or go over a bridge. And that might not even be the first bridge you got to go over to hop another one to another one. So it might cost you $40 to $50 just to cross bridges.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, they don't get you on the way back. Well, that's $50 a car. How many are going through a day? You're telling me you couldn't raise that fucking money in a month?
Yeah. A week?
A month. And then the problem is, on top of that, is they're telling you your tax money's going to that. So you're taxing me for it. Then you're taxing me to drive over it. And you still don't have enough money, you fucking peons.
And then all the speed cameras, all the tickets, every time a cop pulls you, for New York, I'd say the speed cameras and the tolls must be one of the greatest, most lucrative slush funds ever. Ever. I'm sure there's Fortune 500 companies trading on Wall Street that don't make as much money as this slush fund makes.
Oh, it's insane, because where's the money?
Yeah. Where does it go?
Like we said a couple of episodes ago, that guy that was like working down in the train tracks that was getting paid $100 grand a year and not showing up. Like that's
for 18 years doing 18 hours of overtime a day. Yeah.
His last name was like Gambino, but nobody told you that, but with those no-show jobs, right? So I mean, we've seen that through the years.
I knew somebody who used to work in sanitation for the city of New York, and he had a legitimate job. But there was like these other crazy jobs that like you were getting paid like $70K a year back in like the early 90s to wash the garbage trucks. I never seen a clean garbage truck in my entire fucking life. There's guys who replace the rivets on the garbage trucks.
So well, I mean, that's even like the elevator operators union.
We have a close friend in our group who is an elevator operator, and boy, they make a lot of money. And when he has to work, it's a nightmare. Yeah, when he has
So
to
I have
work.
friends that work in like the elevator operators union, but they do like the shaft work and they do like that stuff. Like there's guys that are like literally like they'll be on a job site and one of those like, you know, those cage cranes like that brings the workers up and stuff.
Yeah.
It's his job to just bring the workers up and down all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up and
There's
down all day.
also like some buildings are so big that like they need a elevator mechanic on site at all times.
Day. Yep.
And what that means is you have like 3-4 buildings in a whatever square mile radius, and you sit in an office for 12, 13, 14 hours. And if nothing goes wrong that day, you sit on your ass for 14 hours a day. If something goes wrong, okay, I'll be there in a half hour. I'll be there in an hour, be there, and then you go fix it. And then that's it. It, you know, sometimes it's nice.
Well, I mean, if you need it and you got it, that's what you got to use it for, right? But I mean, you know, here nor there, with all this infrastructure issue and all this stuff going on, you're just seeing this stuff happen all over the country, and it's happening all within a week of all the UFOs and everything else, and all the other distractions, you know. But like these things are happening, and people are talking about them, especially like they just nuked a town in our own country. Just fucking nuked it. It wasn't like, oh, it spilled and like it was an accident, lit on fire. Like it was a controlled burn. If you can't see me, I'm doing like Nixon quotes,
air quotes,
right? It was a controlled burn. So even though you controlled burn it, you still fucked up the control burn that much. Where like I have stuff on my Twitter, like the scientists being like, this wasn't a controlled burn. They just like lit it on fire, man.
What I also saw was the governor or mayor, I don't know.
He was the governor of Ohio drinking the water.
And he literally, for everybody can't see me, I'm taking a small sip, was like, yeah. And he said before he drank the water, well, we believe the science. And took like 2 drops of a sip. Oh, it's so cold. Oh,
I know. It comes that cold out of the tap. That just shows how like out of touch he is. Like, what, you haven't drank tap water?
Yeah.
Like
me and you were drinking from the hose when we were kids.
Yeah. I'm still drinking from the hose.
You make your kids go outside. You thirsty? You ain't coming back inside, dirty little motherfucker.
Yeah. Hose yourself off and drink out of it while you're at it.
Yep.
I know. Well, but I also like that's an optics play, right? Because it's always like every movie, everything that you have, like the big bad, like we were talking about Aaron Brockovich the other time. Like, here's the water, drink it. Oh, that water came from there, and you see like the lawyers like put it down and like whatever. So that's already been ingrained in our psyche for years of like, okay, Flint, you know, the Aaron Brockovich, all those disasters where the water was no good, right? And then everybody's like, oh, you think it's good? Why don't you drink it? And everybody's like, oh, it's like the pivotal moment in the movie, right? So literally, they're just taking a playbook out of Hollywood, like, oh, I'll drink it. Meanwhile, you didn't see you pour the old spring bottle in before.
Yeah.
Like
dropping iodine taps in there real quick.
Also, it's so hard to believe anything with the deep fake and the AI and all that other stuff, you know, like
also
in a green screen.
Yeah. I'm sure you understand how a motorhome or a trailer carries water. It's a separate water tank. You think just because we're standing in someone's kitchen doesn't mean like there's a hose running from that kitchen? It would, and it like people are like, oh, that's a lot of work. No, it's just drilling one hole, running a hose into the pipe, and having a separate water tank outside out of view. That's all it is.
How hard is it to have a green screen?
Yeah,
Cap's got one behind him.
You think? You think this is really
this is Gotham?
Yeah.
You really think this is Gotham?
Yeah. For the amount of money I make a year, I have a penthouse suite that overlooks the water and Gotham from.
And the sign came up, so we had to hop on the episode.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we were needed.
Yes, exactly.
Fucking amazing.
I know, but it's so true. Like with the amount of dude, they're doing like full blown like interviews with deep fakes of people, right?
Yeah.
So like how hard is it to be like, we're in a living room in Ohio? How'd you know it was East Palestine?
Yeah.
You could have been in a living room.
Could have did it from my living room, and you wouldn't have known. Yeah.
Wouldn't even have known.
And then how many times with all the mass shootings that we've caught the same crisis actors? Yeah.
I know. Well, I also, let me see if I can bring it up on the screen share. We also have a video that was out on Twitter where it's a lady out in California, right? And it's in like their farmland and their heartland of California, and you know, just a little context. They're bringing trains in, and they're like, "We live up here. Nobody ordered trains. Nobody ordered this stuff. Like, it only comes if we ask for it." Like type of deal.
this was a great video, and this is what really brings this conspiracy theorist out of me. Now, she could be lying. We don't know. But it is something interesting to think about. Let's see what we got here. All right, screen sharing.
All right, hold on. Can you see this? Is it big?
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll make it full size. I'll restart. And then we'll get it rocking and rolling. Oops. All right, ready?
Yes, sir.
Hey everybody, this is Dawn Arnson with the Alaska Patriot Network. I am visiting California and I am here with one of the local ranchers, and I was brought out to this field in Stanislaus County, California, and this is the center of like the heartland of the nut industry, the almond industry, the pecan, or not pecans, I'm sorry, almond, walnut,
pecans,
cattle. There's not a lot out here, folks. And yesterday we were at a gathering and we were alerted by another rancher that the railroad company, some company, that nobody knows which company this is, has brought in hundreds of these railroad cars. And you can just see the line of them here. Let me see it, make sure I'm getting it in the shot. Sorry. Getting this in the shot. Now, on the cars, they say odorless liquid petroleum gas. Now, they are loaded. They're riding low on their axles. They're double and triple deep on this switchback. And this is important because these ranchers, this is unprecedented in this area. None of them, they're like, what the hell is this? Why are they bringing this into the, heart of nowhere? I mean, unless you own land here or you're in the know-how, you don't know that this is here right now. And like I said, this is just the end of this line. I'll make sure I'm getting these cars in here. And it goes on for miles. There's hundreds of these cars filled with an unknown liquid in the middle. Now, what's significant about this is just over, a few miles over is the main water pipeline that goes into San Francisco. This also abuts two important in agricultural rivers that feed this agricultural valley. So we don't quite know what's going on here. And it was the talk of the valley yesterday. I'm just visiting from Alaska. So I did ask one of the ranchers to bring me out.
All right.
That just is conspiracy fuel, man. Conspiracy fuel. It's strange, when the BLM riots were going on, pallets of bricks were showing up everywhere. That was documented. We're not talking out of our ass about that. What's the globalist elites, agenda here for what's the end game for doing this? Are we really going to attempt to poison San Francisco's water supply, screw up the nut industry, which is just funny to say, but fucking big kids we are.
Yeah.
God, and
we can't be busting nuts everywhere. What the
fuck? And here we are. It's some no-name county in California that nobody knew about. How many people knew about East Palestine, Ohio before that
Besides
happened?
the Netflix special?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Which, oh my God.
In the town?
Yeah.
Chemical disaster in the town?
Yeah. How like...
So this is
hold on I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Go.
So you and James talked about this. Skaggs and I talked about it. There are about 3 to 4 several derailments of trains every single day, which in its own, whether we're talking about chemical spills or grand conspiracy or not, that's something that needs to be addressed. We've had trains since the 1700s or something like that, 1800s.
Yeah, but to be devil's advocate, how many cars crash a day?
Yes, but that is chalk up a car to user error. There's only so many train conductors. The trains are usually being derailed either by a conductor fault or poor infrastructure. Right. so cars aren't, maybe, some cars are crashing because of poor infrastructure, but how many times is it Sally Lou doing her makeup and texting at the same time?
Operator error. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and the devil advocate that, we always say like, oh, gun violence is so low, but the left uses the same if it's one life, right? Same thing for COVID. If it was one life, we just have to wear a mask and everything.
If it's just one train.
So if it's just one train, I mean, you can use that logic, but then you're also shooting yourself in the foot with your other argument. So, but I mean, here nor there, like there's a lot of chemicals being trucked around this country, and this is how it's being handled. And if we didn't see the nuclear plume mushroom cloud from where we live, you wouldn't know about it, right? So I mean, I don't know. We're just pointing out it's a very fishy situation, and it's a lot of distractions every day. So you're not looking at Ukraine. You're not looking at the Twitter files. You're not looking at, big tech being brought in front of Congress for the election and everything else. You're not looking at the election case in Arizona. You're not looking at,
Keystone Pipeline,
Pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline.
Nord Stream pipeline.
The Nord Stream pipeline, act of war. Like that's a big fucking deal. That's in trouble. And me and James said yesterday, that's like Russia or China coming over here, and if we had the Keystone pipeline, they just blew it up. You didn't think we'd fucking fist fight over that?
Yeah.
I don't think we like, come on, man.
So Biden wouldn't have. He would have been, thank you. Now I didn't have to shut it down.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for poisoning my people. But then you have that. Nobody's talking about the 5-6 different places Biden's been hiding all his Ukraine information and his classified documents all over.
Yep. Oh yeah, look how quickly that story's gone. Yeah, all these documents came. That's a very good point. Forget, minus the Nord Stream disaster that is. Biden was guilty as could be 2-3 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden there's UFOs and chemical explosions every single day.
Clog the news line, man. Clog the news line. But like once you learn the playbook, like you. But that's the thing. They're trying to.
I even forgot about that, and I'm on top of this shit.
I know, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like all these things are happening, and there's things in the works that is still going down. And this is the fog of war, people. So they're the evil side is throwing every single thing in their playbook. They're in full blown panic mode. They are fucking derailing trains. They're nuking towns. They're trying to escalate World War III. They're blowing up pipelines. They're crashing markets. They're doing everything else. So you're in this constant state of like fucking UFOs. There's aliens. They threw aliens at us, guys. That's how desperate they are. They're throwing aliens.
They threw the feelers out. Yeah,
dude. And they've been throwing, like, you could, all right, let's take the aliens, right? So what was it? I think it was at the end, when Trump came in, he said he was going to, do something about finding out about that. But then you had Marco Rubio. Like when he said he got elected, one of the first things he did was like he ran on like, I'm going to get the information from the Pentagon about the aliens. And then he got back in, and like one of his first bills or one of his first things he did was go into that. And then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, he said the Pentagon's going to give the report on it. And then a week or two later after that, you started seeing Pentagon drops on Twitter and everything else going, yeah, we've known about this for a while. Yeah, we've done this. And then the Pentagon is literally admitting, like, we've known about aliens. We know that there's extraterrestrial craft out there. We say these sightings that, like, because you remember the TikTok shape on Joe Rogan, he had the pilot on. I mean, they've been dropping this now for 2 years leading up to it. So now once it hits you and it resonates with you, oh, there's UFOs. What's the fucking big deal? Whatever. Or there's a couple UFOs. Let's look up why I'm holding the shiny thing down here over there. So they've been planting these little tells, these little things in your psyche, so it sets off that switch. It's subliminal messaging, right?
They'll always tell you what you're doing if you're listening.
So so that goes back what I was going to make a point with, like, okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. But that's the way, the satanic way of, I forget. I think it's karma retribution. It's called. Okay, so in that religion, whatever you want to call it, in that belief, they have to tell you what they're going to do because they believe that the karmic retribution will come back to them and harm them. So if I tell you, Cap, hey, I'm going to kill your dog. All right. And you're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to kill your dog, but like, it's going to die and you're not going to do anything about it. But I told you I was going to kill your dog, so I can't get in trouble. And karma's not going to come back on me because I told you I was going to kill your dog, right? And then all of a sudden, fucking little Jack goes over, and you're like, "Holy shit, kill my dog! I didn't do anything to stop it." Well, that responsibility is on me because he told me. Like, that's how it works. So they tell you, "Oh, we're gonna fuck with your kids. Look, we're in the schools, we're doing it, and you're wrong for thinking the other way. What is wrong with you?" But we're gonna make Jack dress up as Jill, and Jill dress up as Jack. And if you have a question about that, we're just gonna
investigate you.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go send the DOJ to your house because you're a domestic terrorist because you don't want your kids' genitalia cut off. And you don't have a say in it. Wait, hold on. You pay for them, you provide for them, you brought them into this world. They're your kin, everything else, but you don't have a say.
I mean, that's the ultimate globalist solution. Like, just pop out kids, but you don't own them. We do.
Yeah, but then why are they trying to keep the kids down?
It really is. Yeah. Well, if you look at when you're going after children, what are you affecting? The future. Mm-hmm. So you sent me that video. What was that? China, Korea, or whatever, where the kids were taking apart the 9mm in the classrooms and stuff. So you look at, where do you think that was taking place? China?
Oh, yeah, definitely, or North Korea.
So you take a place like China, who on TikTok promotes
engineering.
Children who 10-year-old engineer, 10-year-olds who are redefining what the wheel is and shit like that. And they become famous. Mm-hmm. But over here, you're promoting a 10-year-old who could twerk, or a 500-pound 11-year-old who eats McDonald's morning, noon, and night. And what you're doing is weakening the future. If the future of China can take apart and put together and shoot a 9mm, in their future, they're going to be way better off, per se, than the 10-year-old who didn't go to school for the past 3 years, who is eating garbage food, who's afraid of guns, who doesn't know if they're a man or a woman.
Who might have a heart attack if they run because their parents jabbed them 28 times.
Yep. And so now, like, when push comes to shit, it could just be gearing up for a new long game. That's the enemy, whether it's the Nazis or China, whatever. The one thing I've been saying with the establishment and World Economic Forum, whatever, their biggest mistake was going after Trump as hard as they did. They had the plan in place. They were playing the long game. They should have just extended it. Mm-hmm. They should, you know what I mean? Obviously, they had to push back on him, but they pushed
greed.
back. Yeah.
So
you played this long game for so long, you screwed the pooch.
They thought it was in grasp. They thought they had it with Obama, and then they were going to have Hillary for 16 years, and then they thought they were going. So they had to do. Listen, they were so shook. They released a virus on the world.
Yeah.
That's how shook, and that's how much they were like, we're losing control. They're seeing the American people being successful. They're seeing Trump doing what he says he's going to do. They're like, this can't happen. Yeah. They got so paranoid and so shook because they've been able to play the game and control the situation for so long that they have done. Look at what's happened since just 2020.
Yeah. It's been a nightmare.
Look at what's happened. Yeah. We can sit here and do a 4-hour episode just listening, not even going into it,
describing our feelings and our opinions. Yeah,
well, not even that, just the facts of all the events that have happened.
Yep.
There's been 100 years worth of history in the past 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait.
There's a year's worth of news in every day.
Yeah, in when it's 2040 and our kids are in, my kids are in high school and they have to learn about the 2020s.
Getting back to the kids a little bit, like, I say it to my kids all the time. I'm raising assets, not liabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what these other governments are doing with their children. They're raising assets, not liabilities, where our country is making the kids liabilities.
Yeah.
So if that's a losing plan. Now, Is there a lot of people digging their heels in? Is there a lot of people doing school choice? Yes. Is there a lot of people pulling their kids out? Is there a lot of people trying to get back to the roots? Like, we're going to eat our own food. We're going to do this. Like, the government's like poisoning our food. Every seed is GMO now. You can only plant certain seeds if you're going to sell your crop somewhere. Like, dude, it's wild. People don't understand. Like, once you dive down that rabbit hole, how long they've been killing and injecting. Like, oh, we didn't want to get the jab. All right, cool. They're going to give it to the fucking meat we eat.
Look at, I think there's a study from a nutritionist who studied the nutrition of the same food over the course of like 50 years.
Farming, going through the ground, not letting it recover. And we're pulling all this food out, and we're doing this mass production of food all the time. And how much of it goes to waste? Yeah,
vegetables and eggs were tremendously way more nutritious in value for you in like the 50s and 60s.
The amount of like let's just fucking the amount of apple or oranges you would have to eat 60 years ago to get the amount of vitamin C, you'd have to eat almost like a bundle of oranges now to get the same amount of vitamin C. They're all new, but this is all done by design. So you buy more. Now we all need to get supplements because our body's not getting it. Now that started a whole different industry, right?
70% of Americans are deficient in magnesium. I read that and I went out and
one of them.
I know I've been on magnesium vitamins for like 2-3 years now.
So does it hurt your stomach?
No, you have to take. I was warned the first time I bought them. She was like, take 1 a day, maybe 2 a day. She's like, over that, you're going to shit your brains out.
Yeah. So like they bother my stomach. So I got to definitely eat with them. But like I do vitamin C, vitamin D every day. I do glucosamine control, and then I do fish oil.
Yeah, I do. Oh, fuck. I got garlic for my heart. Oregano, oil of oregano, vitamin D, and vitamin C for immune
People don't
system.
understand how like potent oregano is. Like how many things you can use oregano for. It's insane. That might just be the guineas in us talking, but I'm just saying. And garlic, like you sick, you eat a clove of garlic, that like burns the demons right out of you.
I found out with
like whole cloves,
Also, milk thistle for my liver because I mean, to do
you abuse it.
Yeah. Activated charcoal. It comes in pill form. I've never tried it yet, but apparently, if you have severe food poisoning, if you take one activated charcoal pill, from what I have heard from scientists, I don't even know if they're truly scientists, your food poisoning will be cured in 30 minutes.
No shit.
Because the charcoal drains all the toxins and poisons out of your system.
What do you do? Piss it out?
I piss it and poop it out. I guess so. I don't know what happens after that, but apparently like your food poisoning will be done.
Well, this is the other reason we all have all these problems and everything because of the environment around us, everything they're dumping on us, everything they're putting in our food. Like we have, like so many people have like heavy metal problems in their bodies and they have to detoxify their body. Like there's so many things like this and, this giving off the frequencies and everything. I mean,
5G.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but like our body operates as the same frequency as the earth.
Yeah.
So everything around us is moving. The desk, even though it's stationary, it has a vibration to it. Everything in this earth has a vibration to it. So you screw with you ever see people do like the sound things or like glass break? Like that's a thing. Those harmonic things, those are things. Those are not.
You ever see the people move the blocks with sound waves? They get it in that tube and they blow into it and it makes a certain noise and a certain vibration and it'll literally lift up the wood block.
There's a lot of technology I think they've been hiding from us for a long time, and they don't want to know what the human body and just the regular human like us, the regular Joe Schmoes, that are really capable of.
Even music, there's frequencies that you could listen to that
easiest way. You ever hear a song come on and you get goosebumps?
Yeah.
Like you're driving, you're like, oh yeah, like it's just hits up. Man. Yeah, you don't even know why. It just hits up, and you're like, oh, your hair's standing up and everything. Certain frequencies, certain things. So there's power and all that stuff. And I think they're just hiding it on us for a long time. And like we said, our last episode is like, what's the end game? Because everybody's like, why would they do that? Why would they do this? Like, why do humans do a lot of fucked up shit all the time?
That title got some response on Truth Social. Yeah. And one kid, oh man, I don't even want to call him out, but it was like Archangel Michael or something. His page cracked me the fuck up. He just hates Joe Biden, and he has. And now YouTube, I'm not condoning this or anything, but he just has picture after picture of Biden with a different child, and it just simply says #rope. Yeah. #rope. Oh man, it killed me. But another kid was just like, easy, like they want to kill us all, enslave the last few of us, make us produce more workers. They take all the wealth and everything, and we're left with nothing. They want which is weird that like this 1% of people want to control like a small population just so they could continue being wealthy.
I know this is going to sound fucking absolutely insane, but I'm going to say it. The only like a small group of people want to control, like, are these small group of people a different species and look at us like we're fucking ants?
I have two
I'm not
things
getting into the Nephilim. I'm not getting into all that shit. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Lizard people.
But listen, the only logical thing is, okay, we're above cattle. We corral our cattle.
Yeah. Yes. I've met billionaires before in the past with certain jobs I've worked with. I've always worked with high-end inventory and stuff like that.
Skag gives handies. Sorry. I mean, Cap gives handies.
Yeah. To this
$1 billion hands.
Yeah. This is why my penthouse overlooks Gotham.
He's got great wrist
jerking
work.
Off billionaires.
He's got great wrist work.
And I've met billionaires and I've met millionaires. Millionaires, depending, the self-made millionaires, usually they're pretty good. The ones that didn't earn it are usually quite unreasonable. Mm-hmm. Billionaires are a different breed. They very well might as well be a different species. They walk amongst you and don't see you. They don't breathe the same air as you. They don't move, act, think, look, nothing like me and you do. Being in the same room as one will put off an aura or a vibration that you understand, not just because they have a lot of money. It's because with that money comes a lot of power. There is a different frequency. I remember the first time I met this one billionaire, like her stylist came into where I was working and they were like preparing us for her arrival. They were shook before she showed up. She showed up and sat in her car for 5 minutes. And we're like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, she's just decompressing. Right. Oh, okay. So, she was probably, the mothership was sending the information she was downloading.
Download signal.
And she came in and I mean, no hello, no courtesies, nothing. You might as well have been a piece of furniture in the room for her. Mm-hmm. That's what it was like. It was one of the strangest encounters of my life. So yeah, they are a different species.
Yeah, I mean, I've met millionaires. I don't think I've met any billionaires unless I've didn't. I don't walk up and be like, "Yo, what's your net worth, bitch?"
Yeah. 1 point billion.
Yeah, well, I treat everybody the same, but I guess that's just because I'm just a simpleton,
Yeah, fucking rube.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like you said, the self-made millionaires are usually way different than the ones that got it, and they just in the way they treat people and everything like that. Billionaires, but the reason they operate like that as well too is because they have so much money that their mind can be free from the bullshit. Like we're just trying to figure out how to feed our families, and they don't have to worry about that.
They don't have to worry about feeding their generations of family. Yeah.
Keeping a roof over your head. They don't have to worry about that. They have 25 roofs they can go live under. So once we've talked about it, it's done by design. They keep us in the hustle. They keep us in the grind to try to get to that next level. And then a lot of times, like you get to that next level, and it's like, do I want to be in the kid fucker level? Do I? because I really don't want to be there, man. Like, you know, and I'm not saying all of them and that, like, I'm just using it as an example, but like, and then you start getting to that weird level where like, all right, there's a bunch of weirdos around me because we're all weird because we have too much time on our hands, too much money. And now like, we're going to go to Mars.
The money in itself
we're going to shoot
distraction.
Teslas into space.
Yeah. The money in itself is a distraction. Everything truthfully is a distraction. Anything past the Native American Indians is a distraction. If you think about it, for America, they were some of the most healthy, longevity, they enrich in history. It's not like the Native Americans were around for a short period of time. Like it was cavemen, then it was Native Americans. You know what I mean? Like, and they made it up to like 150 years ago, 100 something years ago. And obviously they're still around, but that way
we introduced fire water.
Yeah. That simple way of life, growing food for yourself, growing natural food, hunting, that's like the bare necessities of life is what life's supposed to be about.
But you also stay healthy doing all those things to get those things.
And you stay strong. And, you know, once you leave the country and you go to a country that's maybe a little bit poorer and doesn't have GMOs and preservatives and stuff. My barber is Dominican and his grandmother lives in the DR and she's 90 something years old. She smokes cigarettes and drinks whiskey every day. Now people are going to go, how can you do that? How can she be 90 something and be smoke? Well, that's because the only two vices in her life are cigarettes and whiskey. All the fruit, all the vegetables, all the produce, all the grains, all the breads she eats is grown in a farm down the street from her town. She doesn't eat McDonald's. She doesn't go fast food. She doesn't go to the grocery store. She's not eating Doritos and flaming hot Cheetos. She's eating eggs and bacon in the morning, whatever for lunch. You know what I mean? Like, and chicken for dinner.
That's the thing. We're constantly getting poisoned. So even when you think you're clean living, you're still getting poisoned. And people, you know, need to wake up to that. And it's because it's mass production, it's preservatives on shelves when we were able to keep food longer and everything else. So, you know, I mean, like I said, it's a gift and a curse but all that did too was free up more time so you can work.
Yes. And then they tricked women into working.
Yep.
Yeah. And on top of it, when you make it to the billionaire status, you could pick and choose how you want to live your life at that point. If you had $1 billion in your bank account, cool. I'm going to go move out to Utah and I'm going to go live in a field and build my own little farmhouse and a 10-acre ranch and have horses and cows and pigs and goats. And I'm going to live sustainable. But you have $1 billion to flood the infrastructure to get your ranch going. Me and you couldn't pool enough together with bank loans to start a fucking ranch in Utah.
We're starting a hippie commune.
You know what? They had something, okay? They were on the right fucking path. We always talk about starting local government.
It was such a perversion of what they were trying to do.
Oh, well, yeah, because
it was the communism. Like, we share, but like, but I mean, you're starting to see that, but there's a difference between communism and community.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
I just want a fortress, Alexandria. Walls and a little community, self-sustaining, stay out.
I mean, and I think a lot of people just want to be most of especially the libertarians and everything else, they just want to be left alone, right?
But my problem, that book that Skaggs made me read, which was a great book, Anatomy of the State, I forget the author's name. The state is an entity. It's like the Force from Star Wars. It is there. It is among us. If you create a commune or this little fortress community, world ends. Me and you are there. We got guns, we got skills, we got knowledge. Me and you are two strong guys. People start turning to us to a leadership role, right? There's 100 people. Not all 100 people are going to make 100 decisions. The community will fall apart. So now they take 5 people out of that 100. The state was just born within the walls of your fortress. As long as there is a leader, and there will always be a leader, even if you are in a little backwater community of 10 families living together, one family is going to be looked towards because they have the most skill or the most equipment or the most know-how, and they get put in this position of power, whether they want it or not. And the state is born once again. The state will always be there. If this all came crumbling down and we were all left to our own devices and we broke into these little communes, each commune would have their own state.
Yeah, but well, and not everybody's a natural born leader. And there's a lot of people that don't want to lead. And especially nowadays, most people just want it done for them.
There comes in the distractions again, because there's a lot of people who would be good leaders, but based on their entire life of eating frozen burritos from Walmart and playing video games and not going outside and just living this distracted life, knee deep in Instagram every night and shit. You never even found out if you could be a leader or not. And then you look, and then you go on social media and you see this guy with the hot chick, and you see this guy with the Lamborghini, and you see this guy with the penthouse suite overlooking Gotham. And you're like, how am I ever going to do? So now you're discouraged. Then you go to school and there's no free thought of idea. So you're discouraged again. Then you get a bad grade on your math test. Well, you're just a fucking retard. We better fill you up with pharmaceutical medication. Discouraged. You never got a chance to be a fucking leader. Not once you get a chance to be a leader. And that is part of, good times create weak men. This is the creation of weak men. You're not
this
even
is the byproduct of all this.
Yeah.
Having
of all the
easy
distraction.
times.
Yeah.
We live in the easiest time zone of men. So, and women, and I've been doing a lot of they thems lately.
See, I'm wearing off on you. It's free to be nice, no matter how crazy these people are. Although I had a good laugh.
No, I don't give a fuck about it. I'm totally I'm totally just my toxic masculinity is coming out.
Oh yeah. There was the she chick that like bangs all the NBA stars.
Oh, what's her something star?
Yeah, star, whatever. I don't know.
She got like the rainbow hair. I saw her on like a
she did an
Paul
interview.
Podcast or something.
She did an interview and she was like, this they them shit is such bullshit. Like, and for her or him, I don't even know what it is, whatever she or he wants to be called. And she was like, this is all just made up. She's like, even if you're transgendered, you transitioned into a man. You didn't transition into a they.
Yes, I know. Well, that's the whole thing, But it's all
just
confusion.
all made up.
Confusion.
Distraction.
Smoke and mirrors, sparkly things over here, sparkly things over there.
Yep.
No, I know.
All right. So we got anything else to cover? Or are you good, my friend?
Well, we're good, man. I think we covered a lot. We'll let people dissect on this,
Excellent.
chew on this for a little bit, and then we'll bring it back to them next week.
All right. So is Sergeant Samurai doing anything special anytime soon? Got any news?
Steve's been a freeloading hippie. I don't know what he's been doing.
Bitch.
Yeah,
he probably started one of those hippie communes.
Yeah.
With all that cocaine.com money.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, usually we try to put one out on Monday, so you can give us a follow over there. Winning Wednesdays is live on YouTube for now. I think we probably got nuked yesterday. But we got Winning Wednesdays with myself and one of the hosts of We the People Radio, James over there. And then Thursdays we've been trying to be consistent over here, me and Cap. And man, we're just trying to pump it out, give you our perspective on things, because we do a lot of research and digging into things. So we try to just kind of bring it down and spoon feed it to you as best as we can.
Exactly. And for Doom Nation, this bonus segment is probably going to be the only thing you get from us this week. I know we released our other bonus segment earlier this week, so this will probably come out sometimes around the weekend. We are going to be appearing on the Unfit Statesman podcast, our good buddy Zach, as Skaggs calls him, the third doomed man. And
are you guys doing Freedom Friday
yes
week?
We are. Tomorrow night we will be on Freedom Friday live, so make sure you guys check that out. I don't know if this is going to be out by the time we do it, so but you could always go back and watch it. So yeah, that's exciting. We're expanding a little bit. And next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled program.
Regular scheduled broadcasting.
Yes,
all right.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Always helps.